All right, what is up, you guys? Sage here. And yeah, today we're talking about the speed of business, Legacy Africa, things that have been rocking and rolling, transpired literally since Friday, this weekend. Is yeah, like I said, mm, yeah, literally what I said was going to be happening last time. We talked about enterprise, right? And how we're going to get things rocking and rolling. Well, that's exactly what we did across the weekend. Just having conversations here and there, making sure that we can align incentives and get the right people in the right places to do the right things to make things happen the way that they're supposed to. Long story short, what that means is a lot of business at the highest level, from my understanding anyway. From what I've seen, at appearing into the lives of these people. Your Iman Gatsi, your Alex Ramosi, Patrick David, the main people that I really follow quite closely. At that level, it's literally just making decisions, making phone calls, connecting the right people to the right things at the right time, and applying your skill set as and when it's needed, and also knowing when to step aside and let someone else apply their skill set if it'd be more useful in that context, right? And so, what that tends to look like, what that's looked like in my situation at very least, is just making a bunch of phone calls and making sure that you're delegating properly. You know, I have no interest in fashion design, and so I'm going to get someone who's going to do fashion design. I have no interest, or I have no interest in doing fashion design. I have someone who's doing fashion design. I have no interest in, running the e-commerce side of things. So and focusing on the logistics and getting the suppliers and whatnot. And so I talk to my contacts who have those kinds of things and have been in that kind of space and know the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, the gains of doing and running that type of a situation, a scenario, of people who have been close to that type of action, multiple, you know what I'm saying? And just getting as many people in key positions as possible before actually going forward with it. And so, funny, I was having a conversation on Saturday, I think, with my designer about, yo, so when do you think this is going to be like happening or coming together or live? You think you're like within the next month? I was like, month? You give me 48 hours. I'll try to do it in 24, but 48 is just, that extra 24 is just for the dust to settle. But literally within 24 hours, I had contacted all these different like key individuals and allow, and then this additional 24 is allowing them to contact whoever they need to contact to make happen to make happen the things that we have set in motion now. And for example, connecting my web guy to my ecom guy, connecting my designer eventually to my web guy, you know what I'm saying, so that everyone is singing the same tune, and when we can form proper communications in terms of the whole team, it's going to be with people that are on the same page, but we're introducing them in the phases that um, that it would be necessary to introduce them in. And so, yeah, it's literally just been that, bro. We're coming together nicely. Yeah, outside of that, just letting the dust settle, calming down, the calm before the storm, perhaps, because there are some things that I need to take care of outside of this, including, social media obligations and whatnot, or me wanting to, let you guys in, let you guys peer in, wanting to continue to put out the good things that people find useful, hopefully. Some, yeah, some go as far as to be inspired, which isn't like that. I'm honored to be even saying something that's inspirational, never being considered an inspiration, but to say something that's inspirational, really cool. And yeah, I guess that's why Legacy Africa is so close to me and so close to my heart, right? Even though I'm trying my best not to attach it like that, because, for example, Trained by Sage, Sage is in the name, right? Sage concept, Sage is in the name. So Legacy Africa, I was like, okay, let's actually rock and roll in terms of actually doing this thing and thinking about this entrepreneurship thing and the way that it's supposed to be thought of, which is, hey, bro, your first baby is not going to be your last baby. And fortunately for me, I learned that quite early on, even though in my stiff-headed nature at that time, and I was super young as well. So I'm like, nah, there's no way, bro. This is definitely gonna be it. It's definitely gonna work, right? And then It's like, yeah, it could work, but would it work? Should it work? It's like probably not, because would have been in a much, lower leverage position than I'm in now, and I wouldn't understand leverage. I wouldn't understand arbitrage. I wouldn't understand all these things, and how to make them, how to say, work with each other in the way that I understand it now, and I'm able to apply it now. And another thing that I thought of earlier today was, I think Legacy Africa is also just an opportunity. I will say God's opportunity to me, for me, to kind of apply now, and I like to to talk about my different business ventures as God's opportunities, eh? Because I talked about Sage Station as God's opportunity for me to understand leverage, and it was that introduction. It is the reason why I have the team that I have, that I'm mobilizing now to, get Legacy Africa off the ground, and hopefully apply all of these different skill sets to something that's going to be more sustainable. Because the thing with Sage Consultation that has been its own pitfall, its own downfall, is typically when you're dealing with, and I'm sure there are problems with Legacy Africa that I don't know of yet, and that's okay. I've accepted that risk as I'm proceeding, because it's not like Sage Constellation is completely dead and buried. But it's understanding that in the position that I'm in now, being the main rainmaker, being the main like marketer and salesperson, even though I'm not necessarily going to be the one that's delivering on or executing whatever needs to be executed. Like, I'm going to be the overseeing part of that. I'm going to be doing the copywriting. I'm going to be making sure that everything looks, sounds, whatever. Like, I'm the one who does that final check off before it goes. But at the same time, that's still time from my schedule. That's energy from my side, and that's all predicated upon a customer base of, the most volatile people known to man, which is entrepreneurs, especially small, medium-sized business owners. They go out of business all the time. They just stop being in business, like whatever the case. And so, obviously, if you want to be in that consulting space, then it's a lot more competitive to be going for the larger, medium-sized businesses and bigger businesses, and that's who you really want to be. Who you really want to be like playing with, who you really want to be dealing with. And to deal with those types of people, you do need like a force behind you, and whatnot. And so, long story short, my team skill sets were all predicated upon these people actually showing up consistently and seeing the value in what we have. And I think this is just a great opportunity to create something to provide to the value that my team has, and like that within itself, be the initial testimony. And so the concept of Legacy Africa is not to change my life. It's not to be like, you're the biggest thing ever to whatever. Like, I want Legacy Africa just to have a life of its own, have its own legs, and I want just the opportunity to do what I do, and the opportunity to give my people. I think the most beautiful thing that's going to come of this is the opportunity for me to do what I do, the opportunity for my people, my skilled, highly skilled team, to show off what it is that they can do. I think that's the most beautiful thing that's going to come of this, is just being like, yo, fly. Like, hey, yo, so and so, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. Hey, yo, let's just fly, and let's just work on this project all together and make it something incredible. Let's make it something beautiful that, like I said, is going to have a life of its own, have its own legs, and just be successful. And whether we really see a lot from it initially, that's not the main thing. But if we can make it something where within the next year, within the next 2 years, um, everyone who's a part of this initial team is seeing a kickback of a few thousand rands per month, for example, that's awesome. That's a few thousand that you wouldn't have if this didn't exist. And then this is also something that, like I said, is going to be able to represent something for some people. Some people are going to be proud to wear. It gives my person who's a designer, like, a channel to express themselves in that way. I'm thinking about connecting, collaborating with this other guy that I had worked with using Sage Consultation, which again is the opportunity to meet with people, to network with people, that gave me. It was its own medium to connect with other entrepreneurs and business owners and whatnot. And so I think in some poetic way, man, this is just another part of the journey. It's another stepping stone. Not to say that we moved away from the other stepping stone, um, but to say that this is a part of the next step in progression. And perhaps again, it is a help to the previous step, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, man, the most important, like I said, main title card thing is the speed of business. How quickly all this happened. You know, like I said, 48-hour turnaround time. Within 24 hours, everything is arranged. Everyone is where they're supposed to be. We're just finalizing suppliers. We're just finalizing. Do you get what I'm trying to, like, we're finalizing things now, and we're making it so this thing can happen literally now. And say by the end of the week, we're up and running. And so we've condensed and done in a week what most people would do in a month, in a couple of months. And I think that's really, really good, operating speed. And that's the speed of business. That's how I do it. That's how I roll. Money loves speed. One thing that's fantastic about doing things very quickly, contacting people quickly, getting the correct people in the right places, whatever, contacting multiple of the same kind of person, is number one, you get to know who's really with you, who's not. And number two, you get to know who's about it and who's not. So of the people that are with you, who actually can deliver, who can actually do what they say they can do. And then you get to see the feasibility of the idea. And I could have literally made a few phone calls and found out that, oh no, people don't have any faith in this. This is probably a terrible idea. And I could have dumped the idea and that would have been the end of it. And I would have just had another idea and thought of something else or done something else. But because this thing is moving now, it has legs now. Let's give it, it has legs. Let's give it shoes. Let it run. And yeah, it'll go as far as it'll go. And win, lose, or draw, it'll be a step in our journeys that we'll all be glad that we took. If you have in fact enjoyed today's video, please do hit that subscribe button. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.